I can vlog, like I feel like I can vlog without my hands on the handlebar with this. He's tripping.
What's up, y'all? So we received a all-terrain full-size e-bike to review, and this is from Leoguar. The first Leoguar I got is actually a light folding bike that I kept because it was just so convenient. It was like 30 or 40 pounds or something like that, but it still went like 25 miles per hour, so I'm kind of familiar with Leoguar. I hope that the display is the same because I really did like the display on that folding Leoguar that I got. One thing that I really liked about it is in the advanced settings, you could go from you can change your sensors. You can go from a torque sensor to more of a cadence sensor. I hope you can do that on this bike too. So this bike weighs 70 pounds. Maximum weight of the rider is like 300 pounds. And I don't know where the specs are for this bike, so I'm going by what I could find on the internet here and there. This bike has a 750 watt motor with a 1000 watt peak. Advertised to go like 28 miles per hour. It has a 48 volt, 15 amp hour battery, advertised to go up to like 50 to 60 miles per charge.
To purchase this e-bike, feel free to use my link and my code in the description below to get a discount. Also, I am doing an e-bike giveaway. If you want to be included in this giveaway, you have to be subscribed to the channel and comment below on what type of e-bike you would like.
So what we're going to do is unbox this, put this bike together, and see if this is one of the best full-size all-terrain bikes that I've gotten in 2024. To help me put this bike together, I got my brother and fellow e-bike enthusiast, Tyo.
Leoguar. Is that what you said?
So this is what the bike looks like fresh out the box. Looks like it was wrapped, I would say, moderately well. I do wish they did more to protect the tire, but hopefully nothing is damaged. So this is what the bike looks like without the wrapping. It doesn't look like anything was damaged. At least I'm not seeing that anything was damaged. So the first thing we're going to do is put our front wheel on. And this is a 26 by 4 inch all-terrain V tire company. Look like it says Mission Command. I've never had an all-terrain tire from V tire before, so curious on how that's going to perform in our off-road test. But we're also going to have to put the handlebar on, which is already connected via wires there. This bike also came with a box, so let's see what's in the box. It looks like we have our owner's manual. Instructions seem a little light. I like it when they have pictures and they have a little bit more detail, but we'll see. Information about the warranty here. It does go into our advanced settings, which is good, so we can get into the advanced settings on our display. Okay, pretty sure that is our battery charger to charge our 48 volt 15 amp hour battery there. Look like we have our pedals, which are kind of labeled. We have CRL for left, so we're not going to have to put on a rear rack or a front fender. So let's go ahead and get our front wheel on. You will have to remove this from your brake before you put your front wheel on. So we had a really hard time taking this screw off. It was screwed on there real tight, and whenever we would try to screw it to loosen it up, it would just turn this whole axle here. And so what I had to do, I had to take a wrench, gently put it on this axle in order to take the screw off the other side. So the headlight is already installed. Alright, so this bike is more pre-assembled than most. So we got the bike put together. Only took us about, I would say, 25 minutes because we didn't have to put on like fenders or anything like that. This is a pretty large bike from wheel to wheel. It's like 6 feet 5 inches long. The handlebar, which is not adjustable, is about 3 feet 5 inches from the floor, a little bit more than 3 feet 5 inches from the floor. The seat where we have it now at its lowest point is like 2 feet 8 inches from the floor. Now I do think this is one of the better looking full-size all-terrain e-bikes that I've reviewed on this channel, because I do think it has a very like sleek look to it, and I like the color that I chose. But let me know what y'all think. So I am curious on how these V tires are going to perform during our off-road test. Again, I've never had these tires before, but they do seem a little slick, but I guess, you know, we'll see. Get a look at our rear and front 180 millimeter Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. We do have adjustable suspension on our front fork, so if we want to lock out our suspension, let's say we're on a flat surface, then you turn this that way. If you want to open up your suspension, then you turn it this way. You can also preload your suspension here on the other side of your front fork. Give y'all an idea of this front suspension. Nice wide handlebar. This handlebar is about 2 feet 4 inches wide, a little bit more than 2 feet 4 inches wide. Okay, looks like we have these rubbery, kind of squishy handlebar grips, and these have become my favorite handlebar grips on e-bikes because they have like a very ergonomic feel. Looks like we have a micro shift 8 gear shifter, and this is actually my least favorite gear shifter, just because you have to be kind of aggressive on these triggers. But what I do like about it is my gear is not on this, which is what is used to replace my hydraulic brake fluid. Looks like we have a bell. Y'all think somebody gonna hear that? Now you can charge this bike, which is pretty standard, while it's in the bike if you want to, by putting your charger in here. Or if you want to remove this battery, using the keys that came with the bike, put it here, and then you should be able to pull this battery out that way. I can appreciate the aluminum chain wheel cover. The plastic ones, for me, they just break way too easy. Now this seat does feel pretty firm. I'm not even gonna lie. We're not gonna go ahead and turn this bike on. Keep in mind we do have a panel that has a plus and a minus button here, but we also have a button at the top of your panel and a button at the bottom of your panel. To turn this bike on, we're gonna press and hold this button at the top of your panel, and that turns our, looks like a colorful display on. If I quickly click the button at the top of your display here, then that turns my pretty standard headlight on. And unfortunately we don't have a rear light, but we do have rear reflector. Now let's look at some of the basic items on your display. Look like we have how long has the bike been on for, our trip mileage. Again, my brother did use the bike quite a bit already. Our odometer and our pedal assist mode. We press up, plus and minus to change our pedal assist mode. We really only have 5 modes. This bike does have quite a few advanced settings. To go into your general advanced settings, then you press and hold this button at the bottom of your panel. Press and hold that, and you will go into your general advanced settings there. So in general settings, this first setting is to clear our trip. So we click this button at the bottom of the display, and then once we click that button, we can change that value if we want to. Clear our trip time. Look like we can change our throttle speed. Let's click this button at the bottom of the display. Look like the maximum is 20. We have our speed unit, throttle function on, and I'm not going to go through all of these, but I will go through some of them. And this is one cool setting that I've only had on Leoguar bikes, and that is the ability to change your control mode. So if you go here, you can change that from, let me click on this button down here, you can change that from a torque control mode to a speed control mode. So that's you changing your pedal assist sensor. So this is the only bike I can do that with. Look like I can go from a speed to a torque pedal assist system. The speed sensor measures the speed of the bike or the number of revolutions the pedal make per minute, while the torque sensor measures the force applied to the pedals or the amount of torque produced by the rider. So to kind of summarize that, the torque sensor is going to use how hard you pedal to adjust your pedal assist mode, and the speed is going to go by how fast are you going. So you basically navigate to the bottom of your general display, then you click return by pressing the button at the bottom of your display. No, you can't see me, but I'm trying to make it where you can see the screen. and then you go back to your general settings. So we're not going to go into our advanced settings, but before we do, there is a disclaimer here. The company does not want you going into these advanced settings because they kind of built this bike to be able to pass your state regulations. So if you're going into these advanced settings, you're basically saying that if you get pulled over and this bike is going faster than your state specified, then you are legally responsible and not the company. Plus, I'm pretty sure they don't want you to change a setting that may burn out your control box. So you do need a password to get into your advanced settings. I'm not going to tell y'all what the password is, just to uphold by agreement with the company. But if you have this bike and you want to know how to get into your advanced settings, comment below and then I will email you the code. How about that? So I'm going to click this button at the bottom of my display to go into my advanced settings. Again, there is a password. In your advanced settings, looks like you can change your wheel size, the voltage of your bike. We're not going to touch either of those, but this is the most interesting feature in your advanced settings. Looks like you can change this bike to a class 3. So we're going to click this button at the bottom. Change that to a class 3 whenever you want to. Alright, cool. So that means this bike can possibly go over 20 miles per hour.
This bike right here is like, when it comes to just like stability, man, second to none. You can do email
While you're on the bike.
while you're on the bike. No hands, you can do all kinds of stuff while you're on the bike. It's smooth and it's sporty at the same time. If anybody's ever driven a BMW, it's like that.
That's what this bike feels like, a BMW?
It's smooth and it's sporty. That's like the best way I can describe it. The back suspension.
You wish you had the suspension in the back. You are spoiled.
You notice, yes, I'm gonna say I'm spoiled. You notice that there's no back suspension. You do notice. It don't eat up certain cracks as some other bikes.
What you giving it on a scale from 1 to 10?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
8. Alright.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Alright, so we're about to try out the different pedal assist modes, starting with mode 1, and I'm gonna stay in torque sensor. I know you can change it from a torque to a speed sensor. I'm gonna keep it in torque sensor. Maybe we'll try out the speed sensor later. I like torque better. See how fast we go in mode 1. Let's go up some gears. There we go. Alright, so when I went up a gear, the motor didn't feel like it pulled anymore, so see where am I at? 12.5. Not super hard to pedal in mode 1. You feel the pull of the motor just a little bit. Okay. So around 12 miles per hour, mode 1. Now I'm gonna switch it to mode 3. Go up a gear or 2. See how fast we go in mode 3. Alright. That pedal assist was pretty perfect. Maybe just a little bit of a jerk, but pretty perfect. I mean, it's probably as good as you're gonna get. All right, 21, 20. Love the brakes, love the brakes. All right, so 20 miles per hour, mode 3. We'll try to max speed later. Going kind of fast, ain't you?
Yep.
Goodness. All right, so we don't have full suspension, so you only got suspension in the front. What do you think?
It's all right.
Y'all are spoiled. Leoguar. I swear it's Leoguar.
It's Leoguar.
Leoguar.
This is why.
So this thing right here, it's like, is it a leopard or is it a jaguar?
Leoguar.
Jaguar.
So leopard and jaguar mix. What are your thoughts?
All terrain is dope. The tires are amazing. The suspension is not.
The suspension. Okay, why is the suspension not great?
Why you ask me like that?
Because I already know what the answer. It's not a full suspension bike, yo.
It's not a full suspension, but I feel the bumps. Okay, but I love the step through, of course.
Yeah.
I'm 5'5".
Let's see you step through there. Okay, that's easy enough.
I like these. What do you call these?
Okay.
The handlebar.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is special. I'm like when I'm riding.
You leaned over.
Like.
So we would need a handlebar extender.
Yeah, if you guys could think about for your next bike, like make this like
Adjustable.
My arms aren't that long. The seat was not great.
Okay.
The display is not great, y'all.
You don't like the display?
I feel like it's real small. It's not big enough. The brakes work really well. It's a little unstable in turns. But for a sharp turn, I feel like it does this.
All right, so what would you give this bike on a scale from 1 to 10?
I'm gonna give this bike 7.8.
7.8.
Yep.
All right.
Again, this bike does have 5 pedal assist modes, but we're only going to test out mode 1, 3, and 5. We're going to do mode 5 later. We are about to get our point of view shots in. We're going to start by testing out these all-terrain tires, which I've never had before. Let's see how we do here. We're going to go through some gravel. All right, not a whole lot of slipping, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah, some slipping. Yep. But they're definitely grippy enough. Let's brake here. Yeah. Just a little slippery than some, but grippy enough for sure. Now with these fat tires and wide handlebar, I do think you can lean into your turns quite a bit with this bike. These Mission Command V tires, they're not the most grippy tire that I've had on the e-bike, but they're definitely grippy enough for you to lean into your turns. Like I don't feel like I'm gonna fall at all here. So that's good. We're now about to go off-road on this bike. Off-road with some hills. Test out the suspension, which I got fully open in the front. Yeah, the tires are really good on grass. That's for sure. Probably better than most on grass. And for a bike with no suspension, it's decent enough. You can definitely feel. You can definitely feel that you don't have no suspension in the back, but the suspension in the front is doing. I think it's doing enough. Keep going. Yeah, the suspension in the front is decent. Not quite a motorcycle style suspension. Those are the best, in my opinion, motorcycle style front forks, but this is good for a non-motorcycle style front fork. But again, you can definitely feel that you do not have suspension in the back. So I say I'm gonna judge this on the scale of bikes that don't have dual suspension. In that case, I give this suspension probably like an 8.5. So I'm 5'11", 6 feet with shoes on, and I personally like this bike more in torque sensor mode because it does a good job of, and I'm gonna give y'all an example. I'm in mode 3, I'm gonna start pedaling. It does a good job of using how hard you pedal to know how much pedal assist to give you. Like it does it almost perfectly. It doesn't, maybe it sends you flying just a little bit. Let's try that again. So I'm in complete stop, I'm gonna start pedaling. Now that's pretty perfect, but that's in torque mode. So now I put it on speed mode. Now I'm gonna slow down here, I'm in mode 3. And let's see the difference between torque mode and speed mode. Speed mode is sending me flying a little bit more. I can ghost pedal a little bit more. And it seems like it stalls out a little bit, like it's trying to figure out how fast it wants me to go. You see it going up. It's not using my pedal a whole lot to figure out how much pedal assist it gives me. So I think I would have to stay more at like a consistent pedal, and it's sending me flying just a little bit too. So
I guess you pick your poison, but I like torque mode a lot better because it takes into consideration how hard I'm pushing that pedal. Also, I'm 5'11", 6 feet with shoes on. I have to lean over a little bit more than I like on this bike. So if I was to keep this bike, I would need a handlebar extender. So we're not gonna try max speed, throttle only. So I'm not pedaling. 22, okay. I thought it would only take me to 20 miles per hour, but that says 22. Oh, okay, now I went back down to 20. Okay. See, I say 20 miles per hour max speed, throttle only. So we're not gonna try max speed, pedal assist, and I am on a torque sensor now. I changed my pedal assist sensor to a torque sensor. Again, that's my favorite one. So when we get out of this turn, let's see how fast we go here. Right now I'm in 25, 27, 28. 29, 30. Okay. All right, so it looks like 30 miles per hour. Let's try again. Too many cars. All right. I would say 30 miles per hour max speed. Keep going. Yeah, 30 miles per hour, max speed, pedal assist. I'm not encouraging you to ride your bike in the streets, but if you want to take your bike to the streets, this is a great bike for that because it does have some size to it. So it has a nice size. It's going to be hard for cars not to see you. Number two, because it has really good speed and it's very smooth. Very smooth bike. In fact, I feel like I can go without my hands on the handlebar in the street. Yeah, I can. And I'm trying not to be a prisoner of the moment here, but I do think this is probably the smoothest e-bike that I've reviewed that does not have full suspension. This is probably the smoothest one. Because I can vlog. Like I feel like I can vlog without my hands on the handlebar with this bike quite a bit. I would say top two smoothest for sure. Regarding how smooth this bike is, top two smoothest for e-bikes that do not have full suspension. Like, you know, I feel pretty comfortable on this bike. Throttle only, up a hill. Pretty steep hill, about 35-degree hill. We're gonna see how much speed we lose going up this hill. We're going into the hill now. Again, this bike goes to max like 20 to 22 miles per hour and throttle only. Yeah, how much speed we lose here. Okay, we still at 20. Going into the steepest part of the hill here. $19. 15, 14. Okay, we only lost 5 miles per hour. That's pretty good. We usually lose around 9.
So Leoguar Fastron all-terrain e-bike. There's a lot I like about this bike, especially for a all-terrain bike that does not have full suspension. This is probably the smoothest all-terrain bike that I've had that don't have full suspension. Like, I feel like I could vlog without my hands on the handlebar. Bike wasn't shaky. I feel like I could even make a turn without my hands on the handlebar. That's just how like stable this bike felt. I love the fact that you can change it from a torque sensor to a speed sensor. Torque sensor is pretty much perfect for me. It really takes into account how hard you're making that pedal go down to give you like a perfect amount of pedal assist in torque mode. Speed mode, I didn't like so much when you switch it to a speed sensor because you feel a little bit of start and stop. It feels like it's trying to gauge how fast you're going to accommodate how much pedal assist it can give you. Much better for me to use the torque sensor. This bike is fast. Like, I would say if you're new to e-bikes and you want to get this e-bike, keep it on class 2 because class 3 is gonna go fast. Like, I was able to go up to 30 miles per hour on this bike. You can't change the pedal sensitivity, but that torque sensor is so perfect for me, I wouldn't really need to. I love the tires. I feel like I can lean into my turns without falling. The handlebar is a bit too far from the seat for me, and I'm 5'11", 6 feet with shoes on, so if I was to keep this bike, I would need to get like a handlebar extender. And the battery life was okay. I went on a 15-mile bike ride. I spent 3 of those miles going max speed pedal assist, so I was going like 30 miles per hour in those 3 miles. In that 15 miles, I lost 2 out of 5 battery bars, so that's more like 50 miles per charge based on my bike ride. And I love the brakes. So yeah, there's a lot I like about this e-bike. So on a scale from 1 to 10, in torque sensor mode, I would give this bike a 9. In speed mode, I would give it like an 8.5. So comment below what you would give this bike on a scale from 1 to 10. Any other e-bike you want me to review, also comment below. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.